What's up? What's up? Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. This is my UFC 244 preview. Thank the heavens that everything got sorted out with USADA and Nate after that big scare last week. Diaz, Masvidal, MSG, NYC for the BMF title Saturday night. Can't wait. It's going to be a glorious Saturday. I'll be celebrating the Gator style pimp slap over the puppies with some UFC 244 action. Cannot wait. And it's not just Nate and Gamebred. This entire card is stacked. I know they've got 3 title fights on the December 14th card in Vegas at T-Mobile Center. But top to bottom, well, they haven't even filled out the rest of that card. Well, to my knowledge, they haven't. But Johnny Walker is on the prelims. And let's start right there because Johnny Walker is my favorite pick of the show. And forgive my phone. I can't believe I left the ringer on. It's ringing upstairs. My bad on that. But yeah, so Johnny Walker right now, he is the light heavyweight who I believe is going to be the guy to dethrone John Jones eventually. And he actually has said this week that his performance on Saturday night is an early Christmas present for John Jones. Okay, if you're not familiar with Walker, he's 27-year-old Brazilian. He's 6'5". He's got an 85-inch reach. So, other than Gustafsson, this is going to be the only guy that can match Jones's size. And he's just incredible. I mean, incredible. 17-3 career record, but his last loss was in 16. So what would that have been at the age of 24? Since then, 1, 2, 3. 9 straight wins, 4-0 in the UFC, went the distance in his first fight, but since then, nothing but first-round knockouts. Khalil Roundtree, who's an absolute beast, he finished him in 1:57. Justin Ledette caught him with a spinning back fist and subsequent punches in 15 seconds. And then Misha Serkinov, who is another legit light heavyweight. Flying knee and punches, 36 seconds. However, he does the worm, like from my generation, the old school worm, to celebrate each victory. And he messed his shoulder up bad celebrating it when he did the worm. Had to have surgery. So, but look, I'm not worried about that surgery. This guy is legit. And he's facing Corey Anderson, who's, Corey Anderson's a solid light heavyweight. He's solid. He's got 3 wins in a row over 3 pretty good guys. Patrick Cummins, Glover Teixeira, who challenged for the title, Alir Latifi, who's been in the top 10 most of the last few years. Cummins has been in the top 15 most of the last few years as well. And but all by decision. So look, the way to bet this is Walker to win inside the distance. That is -120. If you can get Walker to win in round 1 at plus money, and I'm seeing One Offshore has that at plus 265 right now. Look, Walker wins in round 1 and bet on that any way possible. And look, I don't like to bet whether it's baseball, boxing, UFC, or a money line play in football, basketball. I don't like to really go north of a -130, -140 price. Walker is minus 155 to minus 160 at most books. Actually, I see a minus 150 at Bookmaker. So I wouldn't risk too much on that. But to win inside the distance at a cheaper price, or to win it in round one at plus money, I don't see a prop for Walker to win by KO. But those are the ways to bet that fight. That's the prelims headliner. One other prelim fight that I want to mention is Edmund Shabazian, and I hope I'm getting that pronunciation right. He is 21 years old. He is the pupil of Ronda Rousey's old coach, Tavarin. I forget his name. Bearded guy. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I don't think he's a very good coach. I mean, he had Ronda trying to box Nunes and Holm. But this is his pupil that he's had since he was 8 or 9 years old. I saw him for the first time his last fight, and he ran through Jack Marshman with the quickness. So I'm trying to get to his page here. My apologies. Okay, yeah. So he's 21, 6'2", 185, fighting in the middleweight division, 74-inch reach, and his career record is 10-0, 9 first-round knockouts, 4-0 in the UFC. I can't believe, I'm looking back at his resume. I can't believe they threw him somebody of the ilk of Darren Stewart in his first fight, but he won by split decision. That's the only fight of his career that he hasn't won in the first round. He knocked out Charles Byrd in 38 seconds, Jack Marshman in 72 seconds. Now, he's going up against a grizzled vet who's been on the fringe of the top 15 for a couple of years now in Brad Tavares. I don't know if Tavares is ranked right now. Yeah, I think he is. Let's see. He's off a loss to Adesanya, who's now the middleweight champ. Before that, he won 4 in a row. So, that's why Edmund Shabazian is cheap. Minus 120 at one book. Anywhere from minus 120 to minus 140. But as long as it's minus 140 or south, I like Shabazian, the young kid. But even there's some... Arlovsky, the former heavyweight champ, is on the undercard. Lehman Good. Man, this is just an amazing card. All right, let's get... I've pretty much got an opinion on every fight. Let's get to the main card. All right, Kevin Lee is a plus 150 to plus 160 dog against Grigor Gillespie. Okay, I'm tempted on Kevin Lee, but let's remember, he missed weight at 155 3 fights ago, and he was struggling to get to 155. So he went up to welterweight, lost to Rafael Dos Anjos, the former lightweight champ, in a welterweight debut. So he's going back down to 155. So I can't pull the trigger on Lee until I see him at weigh-ins and see how tough a cut he had. If he makes weight and he looks good at weigh-ins, and I can still get a plus 140 to 50 or even some plus 160, I'll probably have a small play on Kevin Lee. But small opinion here now. Nothing crazy. All right, the big boys, Blagoy Ivanov and Derrick Lewis. Ivanov's 2-1 in the UFC, but it was one of the top 5 rob jobs, probably. My top 5 rob jobs in UFC history: Michael Johnson and Beneil Dariush, Ross Pearson and Diego Sanchez. The UFC gave Ross Pearson his win bonus that night. That was such a rob job. Well, I thought Gray Maynard beat Frankie in their second fight, the first title fight, the one that was a draw. I thought Johnny Hendricks beat George St. Pierre. There's one I'm not thinking of, though. Oh, this one. The Big Ben Rothwell beat the brakes off Ivanov, in the last year, and they gave Ivanov the decision. So he should be a minimum of 1-2 in the UFC. I watched this 20-minute special on YouTube last night. Derrick Lewis has lost like 20 to 25 pounds. He is training right for the first time in his career. He is cut out fried food, cut out burgers. He's lost a lot of weight. He's got a nutritionist. Derrick Lewis, he's getting older and he's getting serious about fighting. And his quote was that I've got so much crazy shit I've wanted to do in fights, but I'm too damn tired to do it. I'm expecting the best performance of the Black Beast's career. Short underdog, maybe even money. If you can get a small plus, I like the Black Beast Lewis. Now, and let me be clear here for money management purposes. Johnny Walker's the play. All right, I'm sinking or swimming with Johnny Walker and the Florida Gators this weekend. And I like Virginia Tech. But we'll get to another video on all that. I'm sinking or swimming with them. So, I mean, I'm going to have, multiple hundreds on Johnny Walker. I'm just talking about a little $50 for fun play. Well, with Kevin Lee, if he looks good at weigh-ins, I might have 100 or so on Black Beast. But money management purposes, these are smaller plays than Johnny Walker. I'm going to go, look, Vicente Luque, he's solid, man. I just don't think he's on Wonder Boy's level. I know Wonder Boy is kind of getting up there in age. I mean, Luque is on fire. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in a row. But, man, this is it's an enormous step up in competition. And we can get Wonder Boy at minus 120 to minus 130, some minus 125s. I got to go with Wonder Boy. Again, nothing too crazy amount-wise. All right, Darren Till has had some travel issues with his visa. He couldn't go to open workouts today. He's not even getting into New York till tomorrow. So that's a minor red flag. Nothing crazy. What I like about Till, again, and he's going to be Kelvin Gastelum in the co-main event, he's so much bigger than Gastelum. I mean, Till, I don't know how the hell he was making 170, and he didn't make it against Wonder Boy. But Till is making his middleweight debut. Look, the Gorilla, that's his nickname. He's going to fight at 205 in a few years. We're going to look back and be like, how in the hell did he ever make 170? And he's going to look like Rumble Johnson did. Like when you see film of Rumble fighting at 170, you're like, who is that? It's totally, he's like 2 times the human being now. But anyhow, does Gastelum win this fight 6 out of 10 times? Probably. But at plus 170, I see a plus 180 out there, plus 175 at 5 dimes. I'm interested in Till. He doesn't have to cut weight for the first time in a long time. That's got to be good for his, cardio. It's probably good for his chin. Now, we don't have over-unders out yet, which pisses me off. That's going to be an under for me if it's not an expensive price. If you can get an under 1.5 or 2.5, preferably 2.5, at a minus 130 or so or less, I think somebody knocks somebody out in that one because they're going to be throwing haymakers start to finish. I'm kind of interested in Till, as long as it's plus 170 or better. I think he's got a good shot here. Remember, Gastelum is coming off a war for the ages, and he hadn't had much time off since then. I mean, Adesanya had less time off, and won the belt. But yeah. So Till interests me as a dog. So does Kevin Lee. Got to see what Lee looks like. Weigh-ins. Black Beast. So I'd probably say outside of Johnny Walker, I'd probably say Black Beast and Waterboy are my favorite picks. All right, main event. Nate and Masvidal, Gamebred. All right, to me this is a toss-up fight. I think Masvidal has the better chance of winning by knockout early, but let's remember who he's fighting. He's fighting a Diaz brother. Nate's been finished once, ever. And that was because Josh the Punk Thompson landed a nasty head kick on him when he already had him rocked. This is my thing. I mean, if it was pick'em, I'd like Diaz. And the longer the fight goes, the better for Nate. Look, I think that Masvidal has got very good cardio. Very good. I mean, but Nick and Nate Diaz, their cardio is at such an elite level that it's just better than everybody's, period. Okay? So are their chins. So is their toughness. And Masvidal has all that too. I just don't think he has that elite level of cardio. So, if Nate can avoid getting caught with something big early, and I think he will, and even if he does get caught, I mean, he rallies. I mean, he can have the worst cut, and he always has that cut above his, I think, is it his left eye? No, maybe it's his right eye. Anyhow, I think Nate will withstand that early storm. The longer the fight goes, Nate's cardio will take over, and I think Nate wins this fight. But, look, all right, so right now, 5 Dimes has Masvidal minus 155, Nate plus 135. I know you could have gotten Nate at a better price earlier this week. I'm not looking at all the Vegas books. I'm looking at the offshores right now. Because I turned my live odds off. I didn't want to make a bunch of noise during this video. But anywho, if either fighter was plus 150, I mean, if Masvidal is the underdog plus 150, I'd take Masvidal. But Nate's the underdog, so I'm going to take him. In other words, it's just if you like to bet, I think you bet the dog in this toss-up fight. And Nate is that dog. And Nate is literally and figuratively a dog. And again, I think the slight difference here, I think Masvidal's got more power, and he could win by first round KO or any round KO. Masvidal's got better power, but Diaz has got better cardio, and Diaz's chin, like Masvidal's, is insane. And I slightly lean to Nate, and he's the dog. So I'm going that way. But I will readily admit, if Masvidal is a plus 150 dog, I'd be going with Masvidal. Because to me, that's how you bet UFC. Toss-up fight, okay? Who gives you the generous underdog odds? That's what we get with Nate. Although it seems to be getting less generous as the week goes on. All right, I hope that helped. If you tail me, good luck. Again, money management. Make sure you're on Johnny Walker more than anything. But after that, I would say Wonder Boy and Black Beast are my favorites. I can't wait to see Black Beast a little lighter on his feet. And it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great Saturday. UFC 244 BMF. I'm Brian Edwards of Major Wager. Thanks for joining me. Over and out.